Hello there, welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Welcome to News Tonight, where we get a complete roundup of the day's top stories. So let us start with the big story. As India entered the 14-day third lockdown phase with more relaxations, the government on Monday urged people to understand their social responsibility and diligently follow all the protocols and guidelines. On day one of Lockdown 3.0, Joint Secretary Health Love Agarwal said that the country is now gradually transitioning into the new normal amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 cases in India rose to 42,836 with 1,389 deaths. In the last 24 hours, 2,573 cases have been reported and 83 deaths have been reported. Country, however, has also seen a record 1,074 patients being cured of coronavirus in the last 24 hours.
टोटल 11,706 लोग क्योर हो चुके हैं और अगर हम पिछले 24 घंटे में देखें तो 1,074 people have been cured. It is such a positive news that this is the highest number in terms of cured patient noted till date. और इसके साथ ही हमारा रिकवरी रेट अब देखें तो है बढ़कर 27.52% हो चुका है.
As India began easing out of the nationwide lockdown in a staggered manner, the government said there is no room for complacency in the fight against COVID-19. The government said while restrictions are being eased, it is imperative to continue rigorous containment measures, effective clinical management, and prevention of infection to control the spread of the deadly disease.
Restriction को सही ढंग से इस्तेमाल न किया जाए तो सडनली डिजीज ट्रांसमिशन रेट फिर से इंक्रीज हो सकता है. इसलिए लॉकडाउन के बेनिफिट्स को बनाए रखने के लिए हमें सबको मिलकर यह इंश्योर करना होगा कि हम सब अपनी सोशल रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को समझें और लॉकडाउन ईज होने के समय पर भी सभी प्रोटोकॉल्स और गाइडलाइंस का डिलीजेंटली पालन करें. देयर इज ए वेरी फाइन लाइन. कॉम्प्लेसेंट होंगे तो फिर से केसेस की संख्या बढ़ सकती है.
Niti Aayog CEO and Chairman of COVID-19 Empowered Group 6, formed for COVID-19 management with private sector, NGOs and international organizations, has informed that for the first time ever, more than 92,000 NGO and civil society organizations are assisting states in identifying hotspots, deputing volunteers and helping migrants and other needy people.
जगह जगह जो हॉटस्पॉट्स थे, जहाँ जहाँ खाने की ज़रूरत थी, जहाँ जहाँ होमलेस, डेली वेज वर्कर्स, माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स को मदद करनी थी और खाना देना था, इन सारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को मोबिलाइज करवाया. स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स ने हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एक नोडल ऑफिसर को अपॉइंट किया. उसके अलावा स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने एक नोडल ऑफिसर अपॉइंट किया जिसने इन एनजीओज के साथ कोऑर्डिनेट किया. इन एनजीओज के लिए एक स्पेशल ऑर्डर इशू कराया गया जिससे कि वो अनलिमिटेड क्वांटिटी जितना चाहें वो फूड कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया से चावल और गेहूं ले सकते थे 22 रुपए सब्सिडाइज रेट पे, 22 रुपए और 21 रुपए पे, जिससे कि भारत में कोई भी मनुष्य, कोई भी व्यक्ति भूखा ना रहे.
The Empowered Group 6 also played a crucial role in engaging industry associations like CII, FICCI, NASSCOM towards mobilizing relief interventions in coordination with the local administration at the state and local levels.
NASSCOM के साथ मिलकर हमने स्टार्टअप्स और टेक्नोलॉजी ड्रिवन इनोवेशन में बहुत बड़ा काम किया और मेरे विचार से आगे चल के, क्योंकि मेक इन इंडिया हमको इन क्षेत्रों में काम करना है और आगे चल के वेंटिलेटर्स हो, पीपीई किट्स हो, तो ये सब में बहुत बड़ा काम हुआ है. और मिलके कई आईआईटीज के साथ मिलके, आईआईटी कानपुर, आईआईटी मद्रास, आईआईटी दिल्ली, इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस ईडीसी पुणे, इन सबको मोबिलाइज किया गया कि इनकी टेक्नोलॉजी को लेवरेज किया जाए हर क्षेत्र में.
In the next phase, EG6 will mobilize civil society organizations and NGOs for movement against coronavirus stigmatization and in protecting the elderly and senior citizens. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The third phase of the nationwide coronavirus lockdown in India kicked in on Monday with partial relaxations. However, the government maintained that the curbs will continue in the containment zones. The centre has divided the country into 3 zones: red, orange and green, based on the incidence of COVID-19, and the extended lockdown is slated to last till the 17th of May.
While there is a blanket ban on some activities in all 3 zones, this time the centre has given a considerable reprieve for movement of vehicles and goods. Amid the lockdown, shops and other commercial establishments, including stationery shops, standalone and neighborhood shops for both essential and non-essential services, were open in several states. People were also standing in queues outside liquor shops in Delhi, Karnataka, Kerala, among others, after these states allowed liquor sales in standalone shops.
स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय के मापदंड के अनुसार देश में सभी जिलों को रेड, ग्रीन और ऑरेंज जोन के रूप में चिन्हित किया गया है। जोन के अनुसार लॉकडाउन के नियमों में छूट प्रदान की गई है। जिलों का वर्गीकरण स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय राज्यों और केंद्र शासित प्रदेशों के साथ हर सप्ताह या आवश्यकता अनुसार उससे पहले साझा करेगी। नए दिशा निर्देशों में जोन वाइज कुछ प्रतिबंध हैं तो रियायतें भी दी गई हैं। जहां प्रतिबंध कोरोना संक्रमण को विफल करने के लिए अति आवश्यक हैं, वहीं व्यापक समीक्षा के बाद लॉकडाउन में दी गई ढील देश की अर्थव्यवस्था को कार्यात्मक बनाने, वाणिज्यिक गतिविधियों में तेजी लाने और कामगारों को रोजगार उपलब्ध कराने की दृष्टि से की गई हैं।
In Delhi, more vehicles were seen on roads after the city restarted some economic activity from Monday. All government offices have become operational. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal also held the first cabinet meeting in the Delhi Secretariat after government offices were allowed to be opened by the state government. Addressing the media, Kejriwal appealed to people to wear masks, maintain social distancing and sanitize their hands.
मार्केट्स अलाउड नहीं है, मॉल्स अलाउड नहीं है, मार्केट कॉम्प्लेक्स अलाउड नहीं है। इंडस्ट्रियल एरियाज कुछ खुल सकते हैं, कुछ तरह की दुकानें रेजिडेंशियल एरिया में कुछ दुकानें खुल सकती हैं। उसी तरह से सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड लोग जो हैं, टेक्नीशियंस हैं, आया है, इस किस्म के लोग जो हैं, जो सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड है, इलेक्ट्रिशियन है, प्लम्बर हैं, वो लोग काम कर सकते हैं। अब धीरे धीरे जब कोरोना को हराएंगे तो दिल्ली को और खोला जाएगा, फिर और खोला जाएगा, दिल्ली में और एक्टिविटीज शुरू की जाएगी। तो अगर दिल्ली के लोग डेंगू को हरा सकते हैं, पूरी दुनिया डेंगू के सामने झुक गई थी, आप लोगों ने हराया था, तो अब अपने को कोरोना को भी हराना है।
The Maharashtra government also eased most of the restrictions on the industrial and commercial activities, even in the urban areas, mostly earmarked as COVID-19 red zones. As lockdown norms were relaxed in Himachal Pradesh, people gathered in large numbers outside shops in Shimla that opened after 40 days on Monday. In Assam, traffic increased on Monday after the state government allowed some movement. Assam has also imposed a blanket ban of 12 hours from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. every day. Several shops selling mobile phones, electronic goods and stationery were also seen open in Chennai. Shops and other commercial establishments also open in 43 out of the total 52 districts in Madhya Pradesh. Despite the centre allowing the functioning of certain shops and services, large parts of West Bengal wore a deserted look as the state government is yet to decide on the relaxations in the green and orange zones. Jharkhand government has also decided not to relax lockdown restrictions in all 3 zones. Meanwhile, the total number of positive cases of COVID-19 in the country crossed 42,500. According to the Health Ministry, the highest number of confirmed cases are from Maharashtra at 12,974, followed by Gujarat at 5,428, Delhi at 4,549, Madhya Pradesh at 2,846, Rajasthan also at 2,886, Tamil Nadu at 3,023 and Uttar Pradesh at 2,645. The number of COVID-19 cases went up to 1,583 in Andhra Pradesh, 1,082 in Telangana, 963 in West Bengal, 1,102 in Punjab, 701 in Jammu and Kashmir and 614 in Karnataka. As many as 20 central public health teams are being sent to 20 districts that have reported the maximum number of COVID-19 cases in the country. These teams will support the states in implementation of containment measures for COVID-19 in the most affected areas.
So the third phase of the lockdown to fight COVID-19 began today with several relaxations kicking in. Now the government has categorized all districts into red, orange and green zones and has allowed a number of activities in each zone. So let's take a look at how these zones are categorized and what all is allowed in each zone.
Red zones or hotspots are districts that have the highest caseload. They are defined as such by the Health Ministry based on the number of active cases, doubling rate, extent of testing and surveillance feedback. Green zones are districts with zero confirmed case till date. There are also districts with no confirmed cases in the last 21 days. While orange zones are districts which are neither defined as red or as green zones. As per the guidelines, the states may consider adding districts into red or orange zones. However, they cannot lower the classification of any district. The government has eased lockdown rules in red zones this time. Private cars with 2 persons and two-wheelers without pillion riders are allowed for permitted activities. Limited business activities are allowed in urban areas including SEZs, export-oriented units, industrial estates among a few others. Manufacturing units of essential goods and medical supplies are also allowed to function. All industrial units are allowed in rural areas. Limited construction activities are allowed in urban areas and fully in rural areas. All malls, market complexes and markets will remain closed except shops selling essential goods and standalone shops. All shops except those in malls can open in rural areas. Private offices can operate with up to 33% strength while the remaining people can work from home. Government offices can function with limited staff as per advisory. Services by electricians, IT repairs, plumbers, carpenters, etc. will now be allowed except in containment zones. All agriculture, plantation and animal husbandry activities are also permitted. Cycle and auto rickshaws, cabs and buses are not allowed in red zones. Along with the activities allowed in green zones, some additional allowances have been given for orange zones. These include taxis and cab aggregators allowed with a driver and 2 passengers, inter-district movement of individuals and vehicles for permitted activities. However, inter-district and intra-district plying of buses is still not allowed. All activities are allowed in green zones other than the ones banned in all zones. Buses and bus depots can operate with up to 50% seating capacity. Within containment zones, contact tracing, quarantining of high-risk individuals is to be carried out. Testing of all cases with severe acute respiratory infection, influenza-like symptoms, and strict perimeter control and restricted movement of persons.
And on to some other news. Thousands of Indians stranded abroad amid the coronavirus outbreak will soon be brought back home.
The government will facilitate their return in a phased manner from the 7th of May. Their travel back to India will be arranged by aircraft and naval ships. A standard operating protocol has been prepared for this purpose. All embassies and high commissions are preparing a list of distressed Indian nationals who want to return back to the country. This facility will be available on a payment basis. Non-commercial scheduled flights will be available for travel. Medical screening of passengers would be done before allowing them to board the flight. Only asymptomatic passengers would be allowed to travel. Upon their return, they would be quarantined for 14 days. State governments are being advised to make arrangements for testing, quarantine and onward movement of the returning Indians in their respective states.
And the government has clarified on the issue of charging train fare from migrants who are travelling to their home states. Joint Secretary Health Love Agarwal said that railways will bear 85% of the train fare and the rest amount will be paid by the respective state governments. The clarification comes after Congress party offered to pay for the train tickets of the migrants.
As far as people who are there, जो हमारे migrant laborers थे, हमारी guidelines ने clearly कहा है कि infectious disease management के भाग के रूप में जो मनुष्य जहां है वहीं रहे. उसके बाद based on the request given from states for particular cases, उन्होंने जब गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से रिक्वेस्ट की तो उसके बेसिस पर स्टेट की रिक्वेस्ट के तहत उन लोगों को स्पेशल ट्रेन चलाने की हमने परमिशन दी। जैसे कि आपने कहा है, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हो या रेलवेज हो, किसी भी कोशिश में हमने कभी भी कोई भी वर्कर से चार्ज करने की बात नहीं की है। हमने 85% जो पूरी ट्रांसपोर्टेशन का कॉस्ट बियर किया जाता है, वह 85% जो है वो रेलवेज बियर करती हैं, 15% स्टेट को बियर करना है। और उसी प्रोसेस और बेस्ड ऑन स्टेट्स रिक्वेस्ट जो ये प्रोसेस शुरू हुआ है कि जो कुछ लिमिटेड पैसेंजर, जो स्टैंडर्ड पैसेंजर्स हैं, माइग्रेंट लेबरर्स हैं, जिनको लिमिटेड लोगों को लेके जाना है फॉर सम वेरी पर्टिकुलर रीजन, उसको स्टेट गवर्नमेंट उसी तहत में कोऑर्डिनेट भी कर रही है, एक्सेप्ट फॉर 1 or 2 states.
And on to some other news. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu held a meeting with the senior officials of the Secretariat for the first time since the nationwide lockdown was announced on 25th of March. Several issues were discussed at the hour-long meeting with the Secretary General and other senior officials, and progress on them was reviewed. Physical distancing norms were strictly followed at the meeting that was attended by 8 senior officials. The Rajya Sabha chairman inquired about the progress on the expenditure reduction plan that he had called for earlier. Secretary General Deshdeepak Verma informed the meeting that a saving of 60 crore rupees had already been identified against the annual budget of 423 crore rupees for the Secretariat for 2020-21. He further said that a total saving of 80 crore rupees is being targeted as the financial year progresses. Austerity measures that have been identified include deferring the purchases of vehicles, keeping on hold international travel and training of officials, reducing the study visits by committees, and so on. The Rajya Sabha chairman directed strict monitoring of expenditure to increase savings in view of the economic slowdown and the decline of the revenues of the government. Chairman Naidu also directed officials to initiate action to fill up vacancies of chairmen of 8 committees that was caused by the retirement of some members from Rajya Sabha. These vacancies include chairmen of department-related standing committees on human resource development and industries held by Dr. Satyanarayan Jatia and Dr. K. Keshav Rao respectively. Regarding oath-taking by the 37 members who were recently elected unopposed, it was decided that oaths will be administered inside the chamber of the Rajya Sabha after the lockdown, if feasible before the next session. Chairman Naidu also inquired about the safety norms being followed in the Secretariat that has been functioning since 20th of April. The work transacted by the Secretariat since then, as well as the functioning of RSTV period. And the Ayushman Bharat Health Insurance Scheme has launched an express empanelment service to rapidly get on board more hospitals so that the non-COVID patients do not lose out on medical treatment. Speaking exclusively to Rajya Sabha Television, CEO Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana Indu Bhushan said that more than 50 hospitals are in the process of being empaneled under the new service and more than 200 applications are pending. Here is a detailed report.
Dr. Bhushan, welcome to Rajya Sabha Television and thank you so much for joining us.
In an exclusive conversation with Rajya Sabha TV, CEO Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, Dr. Indu Bhushan said that with the launch of this new empanelment mechanism, Hospital Empanelment Module Lite, patients suffering from serious illnesses will continue to get inpatient services without fear of contracting the infection.
We have expedited the process. We can do it quickly, and also the eligibility conditions have been modified so that more and more hospitals can come under the ambit of empanelment. And so our aim is that we can significantly increase the number of empaneled hospitals. So far, close to 50 hospitals have been empaneled using this process.
Bhushan also said the National Health Authority will sign agreements with more cab aggregators to provide transport services for frontline healthcare workers who are treating COVID-19 patients.
Telemedicine is largely for outpatient and for consultations, but telemedicine actually holds a lot of promise for a country like ours because, as you know, that the number of doctors that we have are fewer than what we should have.
Testing and treatment for COVID-19 is free for Ayushman Bharat beneficiaries at private laboratories and empaneled hospitals. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. And in some other news, notification was issued on Monday for election to 9 vacant seats in the Maharashtra Legislative Council. The voting on these seats will be held on 21st of May and the counting of votes will be held on the same day after 5 p.m. As per the procedure ahead of the election, 11th May will be the last date for filing nominations, while candidates can withdraw till 14th of May. The 9 seats in the Maharashtra Legislative Council became vacant on 24th of April this year. The elections were deferred in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. However, the Election Commission announced the new date for polls last week. And now the global update. Amid falling rates of infection and fatalities, several European nations are preparing to ease their lockdown restrictions. Italy, Spain and France recorded their lowest daily death toll in weeks. On Monday, Spain started a 4-phase plan to gradually reopen the country. Restaurants, small businesses, beauty salons and bookstores were allowed to resume limited services. Wearing masks were made mandatory while using public transport. Italy also allowed gradually lifting the lockdown restrictions. Factories were allowed to restart dormant production lines, while parks and train services were reopened and relatives allowed to meet up. South Korea on Monday announced reopening of schools in stages starting from 13th of May. The government also relaxed social distancing rules from 6th of May. Some public facilities, including museums and libraries, will reopen in stages. The decision came even as the daily number of domestic cases of the new coronavirus fell close to zero over recent days. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump said his administration is confident that United States will have a vaccine for COVID-19 by the end of the year. At a program at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, he said several pharmaceutical companies are close to developing the vaccine. At least 1.1 million cases of novel coronavirus have been reported in the United States. Over 68,000 people have died from the COVID-19 disease in the US. The UK's death toll from COVID-19 rose to 28,446 after 315 new deaths were reported in the country. Over 180,000 people have been infected so far. Russia recorded over 10,000 new infections in the past 24 hours, taking the overall infection to 145,268. However, the mortality rate in Russia is low relative to other countries. On Sunday, it recorded 58 deaths, taking the total to 1,280. Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe on Monday extended the country's national state of emergency to the end of the month in view of severe conditions in the healthcare system. Globally, the coronavirus pandemic has infected over 3.5 million people and nearly 250,000 people have died due to the disease. And with that, we come to an end of this edition of News Tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time with all the day's big stories. Thanks for watching. Good night.